literally recording. There we go.
Yes.
Very terrible.
I'm Aurora.
And I'm Penguin.
And I'm DK.
And this is what I'm doing right now. Just stop
Hi,
it.
Michael. We tried real hard.
I've been back in Utah for a couple weeks, getting used to the rhythm of life in the beehive state. It's felt really refreshing to be conducting my day-to-day life outside of Montana. Not that it's Missoula's fault, but that town feels saturated in my own mistakes and broken relationships. Being somewhere else feels a bit like having a clean slate, rather than having my previous failures looming over me. I don't want to be someone who runs away from problems, but it sure does feel good to not think about them for a bit. I've come to feel so unwelcome and unwanted in the place I live. Spending time in a place where no one knows me is a breath of fresh air. It's felt easier to wake up in the morning, easier to find the energy to exercise, easier to find happiness in an everyday routine, and easier to be productive.
Okay. You get yourself a rock star, huh? Monster. The white monsters with this textured can. It's the only ones that the only energy drink that I think tastes not like ass.
Whose ass?
Anyone's.
Anyone's.
I understand that some people are into it, but I have no desire to taste anyone's
You're not doing any butthole
sphincter.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the sphincter.
You should check out the subreddit on butthole licking to find all the advocates.
You told me this when you were driving me to the airport, I think.
Yes. Yes. I have a friend who is obsessed with getting his butthole licked. And he introduced us to this whole world of people that just love it. And it makes sense. I mean, you got a lot of nerve endings up there, and, you know. I've never had my butthole licked, but it's definitely on my bucket list. Do you want to lick my butthole, Mike?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Look at that cat.
15 years young. She hardly leaves my side now, hardly leaves my lap or my chest. She slept with me the last couple of nights. The only time she's not on me is when she's eating. She's breathing like her brother was breathing when he was nearing the end of his journey.
It's that kind of like, it's not a smooth transition. It's like up, down, down.
Yeah, and it's, the normal range is 20 to 30 breaths per minute. And this is like 87.
You and Mari talk so matter-of-factly about the impending end of life for your cat.
Yeah.
Having sort of mentally prepared for it, do you feel like when it happens, it's going to be a significant emotional trauma for you?
Trauma's not the word, but I do think it'll be extremely emotional. Trauma to me seems like the sort of thing that scars or wounds you, you know, and it won't be that. It'll be emotional though, for sure. The body keeps the score is something I've been saying a lot lately. It's based on a title of a book that I actually haven't read, but its premise has made me feel pretty inclined to read it. And I don't know, as good humored and ecstatic about life as I tend to be, the body keeps the score, you know, like it does its thing, whatever it's gonna be. I think identifying with the body's responses and emotions and feelings and thoughts is what causes agony and anguish. But the body still has to feel whatever it's gonna feel, whether you identify with it or not. And I know when I'm closer to her than I am to anyone, as funny as that sounds, other than Mari, of course. And I've had genuine peak experiences with her, and I call her my spirit guide. That's a fitting metaphor. She's taught me a lot. And I could easily claim her to be my best friend. other than Mari. So there will be tears, but there will also be a lot of gratitude and I think relief too. For a lot of reasons. It's really interesting because the main thing that keeps us anchored to this house is her. I mean, the thing that keeps us anchored to this house is her. There's no other real reason to be here. Based on Mari's preferences. She doesn't want to live here and hasn't wanted to live here for a long time. There's conveniences of this house. You know, you're here, John's near. There's things that make the business, I think, smoother and easier to operate. But those are all things you could figure out. And she's very passionate about leaving, and I'm very passionate about accommodating her. But I'm also very passionate about her having a comfortable latter stage of her life. So, yeah, when she's done with this whole gig, we'll probably sell the house and move on to the next chapter of our lives. You know, we've been pseudo-parents for 15 years. It's a long answer, but every single time that the cats have died, I always have to grieve about it, you know. The body keeps the score, just does its thing.
Is it something that manifests itself to the point where, like, do you feel like you're gonna have to take a day off work, 3 days off work?
You know, what I usually do is I write a eulogy for them. I've done that at least 3 times. The last 3 deaths, I wrote a eulogy for. Very deliberately, I wrote a eulogy for. The other ones I journaled about and so on. But, and that usually takes me a day or 2, just to feel through it all, write through it all. I'll still work to some extent, but that's the main thing I'm up to. So, yeah, I'll definitely give myself some time and space to feel whatever I'm gonna feel.
Why is it, do you think, that you have ended up bonding with cats to a degree that most people seems reserved for their own offspring?
No, it's partially because we never had offspring, I think. You know, that's never been our trip. Cats, though, I don't know, man. They're unlike dogs, they're independent creatures who could survive on their own. Like, they're domesticated by choice. It's voluntary domestication. And there's something about that is attractive, I think. And I fucking love dogs. I mean, whatever. It's not like, I suppose I do have preferences, you know? But it's more just we were stupid teenagers who didn't spay or neuter our pets. And they gave birth to many kitties. And we're like, oh shit, what do we do with these kitties? I think they are our children in a very real sense. Like the closest thing we could ever have to kids is what these fellows are for us. And so we've loved them and bonded with them accordingly, and our relationship so largely coalesced because of the cats. So during the moments, the inevitable hormonal roller coaster experiences of adolescence, we fell apart and came back together again and again and again. I think largely because of the cats. So, well, I know largely because of the cats on some of the occasions. So in a way, they're the glue that kept a fairly rocky relationship together long enough for that relationship to become and blossom into something beautiful, you know? Because I wouldn't pretend like it was beautiful for the vast majority of the relationship. I don't think Mari would either. And I think it's kind of an unspoken thing, but I think we appreciate them for that reason too. Or we're certainly bonded to them in a different way because of it. Stay together for the kids, you know, that whole thing.
There's something kind of rooted in storybook romanticism about your relationship with Mari, needing the cats, and once your relationship grew into something that could stand on its own. The cats, their time is done.
Yeah, it's definitely a cute way to look at it. It's a very anthropomorphic, romantic way to look at it, but yeah, I can see it. There's a lot of little parallels like that I certainly don't. I'm not religious about believing, but I think about it for sure.
I'm on my way to an ATM to deposit all of the cash that I have on me. Today is the day that the mortgage company pulls the mortgage payment out of my bank account. I think with all of the money that I have right now put into my account, I'm going to be a little bit short, but I'm hoping that the bank just lets the transaction go through and, you know, charges me a insufficient funds thing. It's like a $30 fee or whatever. Being in an extreme amount of debt and not being able to cover your bills is an agonizingly stressful situation to be in. It's not always like a sharp emotional pain. It's just kind of like a constant dull buzz that's always there. It affects quality of life. It affects quality of sleep. I feel always on edge. I can't remember the last time that I just felt totally, completely at ease. There's just that constant fear that I can't cover my expenses, that phone call or that voicemail that just popped up on my phone is some other creditor, someone threatening to sue me because I can't pay the money I owe them. It is not fun. Bye-bye. Bye-bye now.